Have you ever wondered why your body responds to eustress or distress in certain ways? Today I'll talk about your unique physiological reactions to stress and explain why your body responds the way it does. Leave a comment below to tell me what you've noticed about your physical reactions when you are stressed or excited, and stay tuned. Welcome to my channel, Resurgam with Fran. Resurgam is a Latin word meaning I shall rise again, and each week I share videos to help you to make highly effective and proven holistic choices that will empower you to regain control of every area of your life so that you can have your own Resurgam experiences of rising again from any difficulties you face. To make sure you don't miss these great tips, subscribe below and click the bell so that you are notified when my next video comes out, and be sure to watch the other videos in this series. Last week, I described two main types of stress, eustress and distress. And we talked about how you can mentally change some of your responses to stress to help you cope with it better. Today, I'll talk about how you automatically respond physically to the demands that different types of stress put on your body. Whether these demands are frustrating ones, such as crazy deadlines, having a stressful job, getting stuck in traffic, who doesn't hate that? Or whether they are enjoyable demands, such as getting married, having a baby, taking a vacation, or buying your first home. The list goes on, but all of these things cause your stress levels to increase and decrease throughout the day, and that is very normal. But to clarify, right now I'm just talking about typical everyday stresses. I'm not talking about major traumatic levels of stress, but we will discuss those in future videos. Most of the time, you don't notice the constant physiological changes that take place in your body that keep you alive, safe, and healthy, because so much of it happens behind the scenes at a subconscious level. It happens in silence. You take it all for granted until something happens to interrupt that silence, and then you suddenly feel symptoms that weren't there before, and they grab your attention, such as changes to your heart rate, your blood pressure, your oxygen exchange, breathing rate, even your thinking. The speed of your decision making can be affected, and so many other things required to keep you going change. So there's an interruption to your homeostasis, whether it's caused by distress or eustress. It's as if your body has a mind of its own and you have no control over it. And that's partly true, and here's why. Your body is designed to automatically respond to the signals it receives from your brain. So based how your brain interprets information it receives at any given moment about what's going on around you, it will process that information, decide what to do about it, and then send signals to your body through different parts of your neurological pathways to tell your body how to respond. Your brain totally controls your physical responses to all stimuli on both a conscious and subconscious level. And it's so fast that your body reacts before you even know it's happening. Its purpose is to make sure that your body is always prepared for action and reaction in a split second, so that it can constantly meet the demands that you put on it every day. This means that physiologically you have been miraculously designed to automatically manage and cope with stressful situations using your normal physical stress reactions. But here's something you may not know about your brain. Its main purpose is always to keep you safe and alive. It's always in survival mode, no matter what. As it constantly assesses your heart rate, your blood pressure, your breathing and digestion, your muscle tension, your senses, and your immune system, it's monitoring your survivability internally, on high alert for anything that threatens your safety, such as fighting sickness and infections. At the same time, it monitors all external events, assessing for threats to your safety too. The fight or flight response, which is typically associated with negative stresses, is a prime example of your brain detecting trouble and telling your adrenal glands to dump two main hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, into your blood system to help you run for safety or to fight. These two hormones do totally different things to help you to survive before you're fully aware of the perceived threat. Adrenaline increases your heart rate immediately to prepare you for action. It constricts your blood vessels so that your blood is drawn away from your extremities to ensure you don't lose too much blood if you get surface injuries while you're fighting. And it draws the blood to your internal organs to protect them. It also dilates your air passages for easier breathing when you're fighting or running away. Cortisol increases bursts of energy. It enhances your memory functions so that you have quicker memory recall. You can make decisions and decide on a course of action amid acute stress. And it also decreases your sensitivity to pain so that if you are attacked, you aren't distracted by the pain as you fight. These examples of your body's automatic responses to stressful situations are part of your built-in and very normal survival and response systems. Sometimes if your brain detects a threat that is so overwhelming that it can't figure out what to do fast enough, you can literally freeze no matter how much adrenaline is dumped into your system. But for now, I'm just scratching on the surface of this topic so that you understand how you are wired for survival. But there is so much more going on than just the things I've mentioned when you're stressed, either distress or eustress. Did you know that even when you are watching TV or listening to an audiobook, you can have stress reactions? Why is that? Well, it's because your brain doesn't always differentiate between a real or perceived threat. So when you're sitting watching a movie, whether it's a scary movie or a happy one, your body will physiologically react to whatever you're watching, what you're listening to, whatever's going on around you. But even if it's a movie, it's not real. But if you're watching fight scenes, it's normal and very common for your muscles to tense up. You might feel your jaw clench, your heart rate to increase, your blood pressure go up. Your fight or flight response kicks in just as if you were in the fight yourself. What if you're watching a feel-good movie with wonderfully happy endings? You can start crying with joy. You're feeling excited, happy, and energized. If you're watching a romance, you might feel overwhelmed with the emotion of love. These are all responses to outside stimuli that your brain is interpreting, and it causes your body to physically respond while you watch or listen to these things, even though you may know it's not real. So what point am I making? I'm suggesting you pay more attention to how you respond to common stresses and assess to see what your reactions are doing so that you know if there are ways you can manage your stress levels and responses by making some changes. If you're getting stressed because you're often late for work, get into the habit of leaving home earlier. If you're stressed about planning a wedding, delegate. Get help from somebody who's done it before. If you're constantly feeling amped up and unable to relax, think of things you can adjust so that you're not constantly having stress response hormones dumped into your system to help you manage the demands you're putting on yourself. It is a good thing for these responses to happen. They are for your survival, but in the long run, it's not healthy to constantly have such high stress levels because your body's always in the fight or flight mode. That means that if you have constant adrenaline and cortisol coursing through your veins, it can cause medical issues after a while. So it's important to be aware of all of these things. Monitor the kinds of things you watch on TV, conversations you have, podcasts you listen to. You may not be aware of how they can keep your stress levels so high all the time, even though they may be enjoyable to you. For example, how much news do you watch these days? There is so much negativity on the TV or on Facebook. It's everywhere. What does it do to your emotions? I'm not telling you to not be educated about what's going on in the world, but I am suggesting that you pay attention to what you focus on and feed on. Take a break from negativity around you. Fill your spirit and your heart with more joyful things. It is so important to learn how to listen to your body, your stress reactions, and utilize your natural coping abilities and skills that you are already wired with. Because when you do that, you give yourself a choice. You have the power to choose how to adjust some things in your life by making some holistic choices and creating healthier habits. You can decide whether or not to allow some stressful things into your life. Give yourself permission to slow down and assess what stresses you out and what brings you joy, and create a balance of the two. And if you have any questions for me about any of this, or if you have any concerns, let me know. Leave me a comment below so that I can help you create more opportunities for eustress, so that you can be empowered to rise up and have your own Resurgam experiences by managing your life mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and behaviorally. See you next time. Resurgam.